I went into the situation that I'm going to have to kill the guy. I'm not going to hurt him. I'm not going to stab him 2 times and say, yeah, we're even. You know, because the philosophy in prison is, you know, you stab me, I kill you. I just stabbed the shit out of him, you know, until he didn't move anymore.
The reason I said Troy Kell was one of the most dangerous people I've ever met is because Troy Kell, when you meet him and when you see him in a certain environment, is a very charming, charismatic, intelligent individual who certainly by no means looks like somebody who could commit a crime as heinous as he committed in this case.
I've seen guys hesitate on not thinking something was serious, and it was serious, and they get themselves stabbed up, or they get themselves off. They get themselves killed.
All the white supremacists were going, say hi to Troy, make sure, you know, say hi, give him the power, the white power symbol.
Oh, sure.
So.
Well, and they like to mention that too, because they want the status that's associated with him and his crime. Because they're looking to Troy, you know, he's our inmate god, and we're going to do anything we can to gain status with him, because then that protects us within the institution. So they hold his shanks, they hold his brew, any contraband that he has, and he very subtly manipulates everything, and then to the administration he wants to represent this clean image. So I'm not doing anything, you know, I'm not associated with these guys, but he still has his soldiers going out and performing these acts.
Well, that's a good cleanup for them. I mean, they have to say that to really justify doing that to me. I mean, keeping me in the hole, restricting my movements, making sure that there's no real freedom for me to have, and maybe I'm not entitled to that. I mean, it's perspective of the individual. You know, some individuals think that, you know, he shouldn't have anything. Give him some bread and water and put him in a cage somewhere. And that's fine too, but don't expect the guy to be a nice guy and smile and to say thank you for the bread and water every time you bring it. You know, it's a double standard. They expect you to suck at, regardless of what they're running their face about. A lot of my personality now is reflected from how I was raised in the penitentiary. It desensitizes you. You don't have the human interaction, the contact, understanding or anything. It's structured that everybody's a piece of shit. You shouldn't respect anybody. It's kind of like, you know, just, it doesn't matter.
You have to realize why Troy Kell went to prison. And that being, at 18 years old, he concocts a scheme with a couple of his friends to take a young man he's never met before in his life, a young man named Cotton Kelly, take him out in the desert, take out a gun. Troy Kell takes out a gun and shoots him 6 times at close range in the face, killing him. And they go by a convenience store and buy liquor.
This guy, I felt, was taking advantage of a friend of mine, and she asked for my help. And I went kind of overboard. Me and a friend of mine from high school agreed to beat this guy up because he was doing some things to some teenage girls that we knew. She was a friend of mine. She was like a sister kind of to me.
I met Cotton Kelly at Circus Circus 8 months prior to this actual tragedy. He ran some type of adult entertainment business. He wanted me to pose nude for him. He had started following me, calling my house constantly, harassing my family. And as a 15-year-old child, I made a very bad decision, a very immature request, and I called upon Troy to beat the man up, to have him leave me alone.
I was raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, you know, middle-class family. I'm the only child. I think I was probably just an ordinary kid. on the block, I wasn't any different than anything from anybody else that I noticed.
Troy's been a part of our life ever since I first came to Las Vegas, since I was probably like 6 years old. We lived on one corner of the street, and on the opposite street, he lived at the other corner. And me and a couple of friends, 2 little girlfriends, were walking down the street, and him and his little friends were sitting in front of his house on their bicycles. And, you know, they were watching us, googly-eyed, because he's 3 years older than me. So when we got all the way to the end of the street towards the desert, you know, we turned around and said something real sassy, and they chased us on their bikes, and we ran, and he jumped off his bike and tackled me in the grass, and, you know, it just became like a plaything. And ever since then, he was like, "You're going to be my girlfriend." And I said, "No, I don't even like boys."
Well, Troy used to come over to our house when he was like 7 years old, play with Sandy and Shane in the backyard, go swimming. He was one of the neighborhood kids. Good kid.
My father's into horses and kind of a redneck background, country boy kind of thing. And we had horses and stuff. I was expected to be successful. You know, my family, you know, they're not losers. My parents got divorced, and I kind of bounced back and forth between them. Kind of a struggle for me for a while, but it's nothing out of the ordinary that any other kid goes through. I hung out with the stoners, and I also hung out with my jock friends because I like to play sports, but I like to drink beer and smoke a couple of joints on the weekend too. I went to school, but I didn't like school too much, the authoritarian kind of structure of we're telling you to go here and do this, and I rebelled against that. Dropped out of school and started getting in trouble after that.